The first time I died. It tasted like stale champagne and betrayal. I know that sounds dramatic. But when you actually flatline on a bathroom floor with your best friend's high heels clicking toward your body, you're allowed a little drama. My name is Hazel Vance. 20. 5 years old. Engaged to Alexander Hale III of the Boston Hales. Old money. Older secrets. And a trust fund so large it had its own zip code. I had the penthouse. The Porsche. The perfect life. And Sasha Grey. Sasha had been my shadow since freshman year at Brown. She was the girl who showed up to orientation with too much eyeliner and a chip on her shoulder the size of Massachusetts. No family money. No connections. Just a pretty face and a desperate hunger that I mistook for ambition. I paid for her clothes, her rent, her emergency medical bills that somehow always coincided with Fashion Week. I told myself I was helping. My mother used to say, "Hazel, be the light for those who stumble in darkness." My mother never met a demon wearing a push. Up bra. The morning of my 25th birthday. I woke up with a migraine pressing behind my eyes. The kind that feels like someone is trying to tunnel out of your skull with an ice pick. I should have listened to it. That was my survival instinct screaming at me to run. Instead, I rolled over and checked my phone. 17 messages from Sasha. 12 from Alexander's mother, Priscilla, about the engagement party seating chart. 3 from my wedding planner confirming the flower order. And 1 from an unknown number that just said, TikTok. I deleted that one. Thought it was spam. God, I was stupid. The penthouse was quiet. Alexander had stayed at his place the night before. Something about an early meeting with his father's investment team. I didn't question it. I never questioned anything. That was my fatal flaw. I showered, dressed in a cream silk robe that cost more than most people's rent. Made coffee. Stood at my floor. 2. Sealing windows and watched Boston wake up. All those little ants in their little cars. Rushing toward their little lives. None of them knew that in 12 hours, I'd be dead. The doorbell rang at 10:47 a.m. Sasha burst in like she always did. Arms full of shopping bags. Voice already at full volume. Perfume trailing behind her like a chemical weapon. Happy birthday. Bitch. Get your pale ass out here. She was beautiful. I'll give her that. Dark hair. Sharp cheekbones. A mouth that smiled easily and lied even easier. She was wearing a red dress that I'd bought her last month for a charity gala. I noticed that now. She hadn't even changed the tags. You're early, I said, hugging her. Her body felt cold. I remember that distinctly. Like hugging a mannequin. Early. Hazel. The party is at 8. We have so much to do. She dropped the bags on my marble counter. I brought reinforcements. Reinforcements turned out to be a bottle of Dom Perignon, the 2008 vintage. My favorite. Where did you get this? I asked, genuinely impressed. That bottle was nearly $2,000. Sasha's smile flickered. Just for a second. Does it matter? Open it. We're celebrating. I held the bottle, turning it over in my hands. Something felt wrong. The label was slightly crooked. The foil capsule had a tiny dent near the cork. I'd drunk enough champagne in my life to know when something was off. But Sasha was watching me. Her eyes were too bright. Too focused. Actually, I said, setting the bottle down. Let's save it for the party. Alexander wants to do a toast. The flicker again. This time. Her smile didn't quite recover. Come on, Hazel. Just one glass. Just us girls. Like old times. Old times. Old times were me paying for her rent. Old times were me covering her lost credit card. Old times were me sitting in a hospital waiting room while she got her stomach pumped after she accidentally mixed pills and alcohol. And the attending physician pulling me aside to say, "Your friend has a pattern. Be careful." I wasn't careful. I was Hazel Vance. I fixed things. I helped people. I was the light in the darkness. What a joke. Okay, I said. One glass. Sasha's whole body relaxed. She clapped her hands together like a child who'd just been told she could stay up past midnight. I'll pour. You go put on that blue dress I got you. The blue dress. Another gift from me. Another thing she'd picked out for herself using my credit card while telling me it was for both of us. I went to my bedroom, changed into the dress, looked at myself in the mirror and saw a woman who had everything and understood nothing. When I came back, Sasha had poured 2 glasses. The champagne was pale gold, bubbling gently. She handed me one. To sharing everything, she said. Her voice had a strange echo to it, like she was speaking from the bottom of a well. I raised my glass. To friendship. And I drank. It tasted fine at first. Crisp. Dry. The way good champagne should taste. But as it went down my throat, something changed. A metallic burn. Like swallowing coins. Like licking a battery. I coughed. Set down the glass. Sasha. What? Shh. She put a finger to my lips. Her nail was painted blood red. Don't fight it. It's easier if you don't fight. My knees buckled. The room tilted sideways. I grabbed the counter. But my fingers wouldn't close around the marble. They just slid off like I was made of butter. Sasha. My tongue was too thick for my mouth. Call an ambulance. She stepped back, crossed her arms, watched me slide down the cabinets and crumple onto the cold floor. I can't do that. Hazel. My vision was blurring at the edges. Tunnel closing in. I could hear my own heartbeat. Slow and uneven, like a drummer who'd forgotten the rhythm. Why? The word came out as a whisper. Sasha crouched down beside me. Her face was inches from mine. And for the first time, I saw what I'd been missing for 6 years. Her eyes weren't brown. They were black. Completely black. No iris. No pupil. Just 2 empty pits that swallowed the light. Because Alexander made me a better offer, she said. Her voice wasn't hers anymore. It was deeper. Older. Like gravel grinding against bone. And the thing about contracts, Hazel, is that someone always has to die. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. My lungs were filling with something thick and hot. Not water. Not blood. Something worse. The demon requires a soul in exchange for the goods. Sasha continued, tilting her head like a bird examining a worm. Alexander offered yours. I just had to deliver it. Alexander. My fiancé. The man who'd whispered forever into my hair less than 40. 8 hours ago. That couldn't be right. That couldn't. Oh. Don't look so surprised. Sasha laughed. It was the same laugh she'd used at every dinner party. Every club opening. Every time she charmed someone into giving her what she wanted. But now it had an undertone. A harmonic. Like 2 voices speaking at once. You really thought he loved you. He loves your money. Hazel. And your father's connections. And the way you never ask questions. I was dying. I knew I was dying. The edges of my vision had gone white. And my body had stopped fighting. But I could still hear. Still feel. Sasha leaned closer. Her breath smelled like sulfur. Don't worry. I'll take very good care of Alexander. And his money. The contract is signed. She pressed her cold lips to my forehead. Your soul was just the first payment. Then she stood up. Stepped over my body. Pulled out her phone. And when she spoke again, her voice was perfect. Concerned. Frantic. The voice of a best friend in crisis. Oh my God. Alex. Something's wrong. Hazel just collapsed. I don't know what happened. She was fine and then. Please hurry. I'm so scared. The last thing I saw was her red nail polish. The last thing I heard was her fake sobs. The last thing I felt was my heart stuttering once. Twice. And then, nothing. I woke up gasping. Not in heaven. Not in hell. Not in some white light tunnel with dead relatives beckoning me forward. I woke up in my bed. My real bed. The Egyptian cotton sheets. The pillow that cost $800. The faint smell of my lavender diffuser. My phone was on the nightstand. I grabbed it with shaking hands. The date. May 29th. My 25th birthday. The morning of my 25th birthday. I stared at the screen for a full minute. Then I threw up all over my $1,000 duvet. When I finished heaving, I crawled to the bathroom. My bathroom. The one where I died. The marble floor was clean. No blood. No champagne. Just my reflection in the mirror. Pale and wide-eyed. Looking at me like I was a ghost. Maybe I was. I sat on the cold floor and tried to remember. Tried to piece together what had happened. Had I dreamed it? Had I imagined the whole thing? But my throat still burned. I could still taste the metal. Still feel Sasha's cold lips on my forehead. The demon requires a soul. Alexander offered yours. Your soul was just the first payment. I crawled to the toilet and threw up again. When I was done, I stood up on shaking legs. Walked to the kitchen. The champagne bottle was on the counter. Same bottle. Same crooked label. Same dented foil. I picked it up, unscrewed the foil, popped the cork, and poured every last drop down the sink. Then I called my lawyer. Mr. Reeves, I said when he answered. My voice sounded strange. Hello. I need you to do something for me. And I need you to ask no questions. Hazel. He sounded confused. It was 6 a.m. Is everything all right? No. I said. Everything is not all right. But it will be. I spent the next 2 hours on the phone. I transferred my personal savings, $2.4 million, into a private account in the Cayman Islands. I changed my will, leaving everything to a wildlife conservation fund that Alexander had once called a waste of good money. I called my father's old security team and had them sweep my penthouse for bugs. They found 3, all of them in Sasha's guest room. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't break down. I just stood in the doorway of that guest room, looking at the tiny listening devices on the evidence bag. And I felt something I'd never felt before. Clarity. Sasha arrived at noon. She was carrying a gift bag. Pink tissue paper. Gold handles. The whole performance. She was wearing a sundress I'd bought her last summer. Her hair was perfect. Her makeup was perfect. Her smile was perfect. Hazel. Happy birthday. She set the bag on my counter and came at me with open arms. Are you ready for tonight? I am so excited. Alexander is going to lose his mind when he sees your dress. I let her hug me. Her body was still cold. Her perfume smelled like flowers and something else. Something rotten underneath. Thanks, Sasha, I said. My voice was steady. I was proud of that. You're the best. She pulled back, beaming. I know. Open your gift. I opened the bag. Inside was a velvet box. Inside the box was a brooch. Vintage. Art Deco. Diamonds arranged in a circle around a black onyx center. It was beautiful. It was also exactly the same brooch I'd seen in my previous life. The one the demon had used as a soul trapping vessel. The one Sasha had gifted me before the party so that when I died, my soul would have somewhere to go. Isn't it gorgeous? Sasha said. I found it at this little antique shop in Back Bay. The owner said it used to belong to some countess. Very powerful energy. Powerful energy. Sure. I closed the box. Smiled. I love it. Thank you. You're not going to try it on. Later. I set the box down on the counter. Actually, Sasha, I need to tell you something. Her smile faltered. Just a fraction. What's wrong? I've been feeling weird all morning. Dizzy. Like I might pass out. I put a hand to my forehead, playing up the weakness. I think I need to cancel the party. The mask slipped. For half a second. I saw it. The real Sasha. The one with black eyes and a demon's voice. Cancel. Her voice cracked. But the guest list. Alexander's father is flying in from New York. The caterers have already started prep. I know. I'm sorry. I sat down on my couch, pretending to be exhausted, but I don't want to risk it. What if I collapse in front of everyone? Sasha's jaw tightened. Her hands curled into fists at her sides. Then, just as quickly, she relaxed. The smile came back. You're right. Of course you're right. Your health comes first. She sat down next to me, took my hand. Her fingers were like ice. But you should still see Alexander tonight. He's been planning something special. Maybe? I pulled my hand away. Stood up. Actually, could you do me a favor? Anything. Take Alexander to the country club. Tell him I'll meet him there in an hour. I just need to lie down first. Sasha's eyes flickered. Calculating. She was trying to figure out my angle. Sure, she said slowly. But you'll come. Right. You won't stand him up. I promise. I handed her my car keys. The Porsche keys. Take my car. You know how he loves the Porsche. She took the keys. Her fingers brushed mine. Cold. So cold. 1 hour. She said. 1 hour. She left. I waited until I heard the elevator doors close. Then I pulled out my phone and called a locksmith. I need every lock in my penthouse rekeyed. And I need it done in the next 45 minutes. Ma'am. That's going to cost. Money is not an issue. Then I made a second call. A number I'd memorized from a charity gala 3 years ago, when a guest speaker had talked about spiritual security and everyone had laughed. I wasn't laughing now. Silas Thorne. A man's voice answered. Deep. Gravelly. Like he'd been gargling broken glass. My name is Hazel Vance. I was told you handle unusual problems. A pause. What kind of unusual? The kind that wears your best friend's face and tries to steal your soul. Another pause. Longer this time. Where are you? Ms. Vance. Boston. My penthouse. Don't leave. Don't let anyone in. I'll be there in 2 hours. The line went dead. I looked at the clock. 12:47 p.m. In 7 hours and 13 minutes. I had died. Not this time. I walked to my bedroom. Opened my safe. Pulled out the Glock my father had given me when I moved to the city. I'd never fired it. Never even loaded it. I loaded it now. Then I sat down on my bed, cradled the gun in my lap, and waited for the hour to pass. At 1:30, my phone rang. Alexander. I let it go to voicemail. At 1:35, he called again. At 1:40, Sasha called. At 1:45, I finally answered. Hazel. Where are you? Alexander's voice was tight. Annoyed. Sasha said you were coming. We've been waiting for 20 minutes. I'm not feeling well. I said. I think I'm going to stay home. Jesus. Hazel. My father flew in from New York. Priscilla is here. There are 50 people expecting an engagement party. Then have the party without me. Silence. Then. What? You heard me. Alex. Have the party. I'm sure Sasha would be happy to play hostess. Another silence. Longer this time. When he spoke again, his voice had changed. Softer. More cautious. Is something wrong? I almost laughed. Something wrong. My best friend had murdered me. My fiancé had sold my soul for a better deal. And I was sitting in my bedroom with a gun in my lap. No. I said. Nothing's wrong. I'm just tired. Okay. He didn't believe me. I could hear it in his voice. Okay, I'll handle things here. Get some rest. I'll come by later. Don't bother. Hazel. I hung up. Then I walked to the window and watched the city below. The same city. The same ants in their same cars. Except everything had changed. And they didn't even know it yet. The locksmith arrived at 1:50. A small, nervous man with shaking hands and a tape measure. He looked at my penthouse like he'd never seen anything so fancy. All the locks. Ma'am. All of them. I handed him $1,000 in cash. And I want new keys. Not copies. New keys. He nodded. Swallowed. Got to work. Silas Thorne arrived at 2:15. He wasn't what I expected. No robes. No holy water. No dramatic scars or mystical tattoos. He was just a man. Mid-40s. Broad. Shouldered. Dressed in a black suit that had seen better days. His hair was gray at the temples. His eyes were the color of old pennies. And when he walked into my penthouse, he didn't look at the view or the furniture or the art on the walls. He looked at the corners. The shadows. The places where light didn't quite reach. You have a visitor, he said. Not a question. Sasha, I said. She was here an hour ago. Not Sasha. He pulled a small device from his pocket. Looked like a vintage compass. But the needle was spinning wildly. Something else. Something old. The brooch. Still sitting on my counter in its velvet box. He walked toward it. The compass needle stopped spinning and pointed directly at the box. May I? He asked. I nodded. He opened the box. Looked at the brooch. Didn't touch it. Black onyx. He said. Set in a binding pattern. The diamonds aren't real. They're crushed bone. What? Human bone. Ground fine and pressed into shape. He closed the box. This is a soul cage. Ms. Vance. If you'd worn this when you died, your soul would have been trapped inside forever. I already knew that. Hearing him say it made it real. Can you destroy it? Yes. He looked at me. But I wouldn't. Not yet. If the demon who made this knows it's gone, it'll know that you know. And it'll change tactics. I leaned against the counter. My legs were shaking. So what do? First, you tell me everything. From the beginning. Don't leave anything out. So I did. I told him about the champagne. The black eyes. The contract. Alexander's betrayal. Sasha's demon voice. The way I died on the bathroom floor and woken up in my bed. When I finished, Silas was quiet for a long time. Time reset. He finally said, That's rare. Almost impossible. Then how? I don't know. But I'd guess something intervened. Someone who doesn't want that demon to have your soul. A guardian angel. He almost smiled. More like a rival demon. But we'll figure that out later. He stood up. Pocketed his compass. Right now, we need to prepare. If your friend is possessed, and it sounds like she is, she'll try again. Probably tonight. I'm not going to the party. Good. But she might come here. He walked to the window. Looked down at the street. Does she have a key? She did. The locksmith just changed everything. Then she'll find another way. Demons are patient. Ms. Vance. They have to be. Their contracts are binding. And if she's supposed to deliver your soul by a certain time, she will not stop until she does. I thought about the champagne. The brooch. The way Sasha had said the demon requires a soul like it was a transaction. What's in it for her? I asked. Sasha. I mean, what does she get out of this? Silas turned to face me. His penny-colored eyes were sad. Whatever she asked for. He said, money, power, love. Demons always pay up front. But the price is always the same. A soul. Your soul. He nodded toward the brooch. That's the payment. She sells yours to get hers back. Or to get something she wants more. I thought about Sasha. All those years of friendship. All those nights she'd cried on my shoulder about her debts. Her loneliness. Her fear of being nothing. I'd believed her. I'd helped her. And she'd been planning this all along. What do? I asked again. Silas pulled a chair up to my kitchen table. Sat down. Gestured for me to sit across from him. You have two options, he said. Option 1. You run. Change your name. Disappear. Go somewhere she can't find you. But demons are good at finding people. And she'll have help. You'd be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life. I don't want to run. I didn't think so. He leaned forward. Option 2. You fight. But not the way you think. You don't confront her. You don't expose her. You play the long game. You make her think she's winning. Right up until the moment she loses everything. How? Silas smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. How much do you trust me? Ms. Vance. I looked at this stranger in my kitchen. This man I'd called because of a charity gala speech 3 years ago. This man who talked about demons and soul cages like other people talked about traffic. I don't know you, I said, but I know what Sasha did to me. And I know what Alexander was willing to let happen. So right now, I trust you more than I trust anyone else in the world. Silas nodded. Then here's what we're going to do. And for the next hour. He told me. By the time he left, the sun was setting. The party would be starting soon. 50 guests. Champagne. Music. A beautiful couple celebrating their engagement. Except the beautiful couple was a liar and a demon. And the bride, too. He was sitting in her dark penthouse with a gun and a plan. I looked at my phone. 7:45 p.m. 15 minutes until the party started. I dialed Alexander. He answered on the first ring. Hazel, are you coming? No, I said, but I need to see you. Tomorrow. Alone. Tomorrow's the alone. Alex. Or the wedding is off. Silence. Then. Fine. Tomorrow. My place. 11 a.m. I'll be there. I hung up, looked at the brooch on my counter. The soul cage. The trap that was supposed to catch me. Not anymore. I picked up the box, walked to my bedroom, and locked it in the safe next to the Glock. Then I poured myself a glass of water. From a fresh bottle. Sealed. Unopened. And waited for the sun to rise. Tomorrow. The game began. And this time, I wasn't the pawn. I didn't sleep. Not because I was scared. Though I was. A little. The way you're scared of a storm when you're standing outside with a lightning rod. But mostly because my brain wouldn't shut off. It kept replaying the death. The black eyes. Sasha's voice. Wrong and deep. Saying your soul was just the first payment. At 6 a.m. I gave up on rest and called Silas. Tell me about contracts, I said when he answered. A beat of silence. Then, you're up early. Didn't sleep. Good. You shouldn't. I heard him moving around. The clink of what might have been a coffee cup. Contracts are binding agreements between a demon and a human. The human asks for something. The demon provides it. In exchange, the demon gets something of equal or greater value. How is my soul equal to Sasha's modeling career? Modeling career. He sounded surprised. Is that what she asked for? It's what she always talked about. She wanted to be famous. She wanted money. She wanted to never be broke again. Silas was quiet for a moment. That's not a modeling career. Ms. Vance. That's a life. A complete transformation of circumstance. Demons don't hand those out for free. Then what did she ask for? I don't know. But I can guess. His voice dropped. She asked for your life. Your money. Your connections. Your fiancé. Everything you have. she wants. And a demon can deliver that. If you're out of the way. Dead. He meant dead. So Alexander is part of the contract. He's the prize. The demon delivers him to her. She delivers you to the demon. It's a trade. I thought about that. About Alexander's face when he'd called me last night. The annoyance in his voice. The way he'd said Jesus. Hazel like I was inconveniencing him. He didn't sound guilty. I said, on the phone. He didn't sound like a man who'd just agreed to let his fiancée be murdered. Maybe he doesn't know the details. Maybe Sasha told him something else. That you'd have an accident. That you'd leave him. That you'd just disappear. Men like Alexander don't ask questions. They pay other people to ask questions for them. Men like Alexander. Rich men. Entitled men. Men who've never had to clean up their own messes. Silas paused. You said he signed a prenup. Yes. His idea. Actually. His father insisted. Good. That's leverage. We'll use it. We talked for another 20 minutes. Silas walked me through the plan. The long game. He called it. No direct confrontation. No accusations. Just a slow, careful dismantling of everything Sasha and Alexander thought they had. By the time I hung up, the sun was fully up and I had a headache behind my eyes. I showered. Dressed. Chose my outfit carefully. White blouse. Tailored black pants. Minimal jewelry. Professional. Untouchable. A woman who had nothing to hide and nothing to fear. At 10:30, I left the penthouse. The locks were new. The security code was changed. The brooch was still in my safe. At 10:55, I pulled into Alexander's driveway. His place was a townhouse in Beacon Hill. 4 stories of red brick and white trim, with a door that cost more than most cars and windows that had been hand-blown in the 1800s. It was the kind of house that said my family has been rich since before your family learned to read. I parked on the street, walked up the steps, rang the bell. Alexander opened the door himself. He was wearing a cashmere sweater and the kind of casual confidence that came from never having to worry about money. Hazel. He kissed my cheek. His lips were warm. Normal. Not the lips of a man who'd sold his fiancée's soul. You look nice. I always look nice. Alex. He laughed. A short, surprised sound. Fair point. Come in. I followed him inside. The townhouse was exactly as I remembered it. Expensive art on the walls. Antique furniture that wasn't comfortable. And a general atmosphere of I have more money than taste. We sat in the parlor. A maid brought coffee. Alexander dismissed her with a wave. So, he said, leaning back in his chair. What was so important that you had to cancel the party and make me look like an idiot in front of my father? I didn't make you look like anything. I said I was sick. Half the guests thought you were having second thoughts. Maybe I am. The words hung in the air. Alexander's smile froze. What? I set down my coffee cup. Looked him in the eye. I said maybe I'm having second thoughts. About the engagement. About us. His jaw tightened. Hazel. If this is about the party. It's not about the party. I leaned forward. It's about Sasha. Sasha. He blinked. Genuine confusion. Or a good imitation. What does Sasha have to do with anything? She's been living in my guest house for 6 months. She sleeps in my bed when I'm not there. She wears my clothes. She uses my credit cards. I paused. She's been in your bed too, hasn't she? The blood drained from his face. I don't know what you're. Don't. My voice was sharp. Cutting. Don't lie to me. Alex. I know about the texts. I know about the late meetings. I know about the weekend you told me you were in New York when you were actually at a hotel in Cambridge. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. How long? He finally asked. Bingo. 6 months. I said. since she moved in. He didn't deny it. Didn't try to explain. Just sat there, looking at his hands. Looking like a little boy who'd been caught stealing cookies. "I'm sorry," he said. "It just happened. Affairs don't just happen. Alex. They're choices. And you made yours." "I know. I know." He ran a hand through his hair. "But Hazel, it didn't mean anything. She's just." She was there. "And you were always so busy with the foundation and your meetings and don't blame me for your infidelity." He flinched. "You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I'll end it. Today. I'll tell her it's over." I let him squirm for a moment. Then I delivered the kill shot. "I know about the texts. Alex. The ones you sent from your phone. The ones where you said the trust fund is almost dry. 1 more month." He went white. "Those weren't." "I didn't." He swallowed hard. "Hazel. I never sent those texts. You're saying someone else used your phone." "Yes." He grabbed my hands. His were sweating. "I swear to you. I never said that. I never even thought that. I love you. I love you. Sasha is just. She's nothing." I let him hold my hands for a count of 5. Then I pulled away. "I want you to prove it." "How?" I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder. Inside were bank statements. Forged. But he didn't know that. They showed withdrawals from our joint account. Large withdrawals. All traced to accounts in Sasha's name. She's been stealing from us. Alex. For months. Almost $200,000. He stared at the papers. His face cycled through shock. Disbelief. And then. Exactly what I was waiting for. Anger. "That bitch. She's not your girlfriend. Alex. She's a con artist. She's been playing both of us. I'll kill her." He stood up. Started pacing. "I'll fucking kill her." "No. You won't." I stood up too. "You'll do exactly what I say. And in return, I won't tell your father about the affair. Or the money." He stopped pacing. Turned to look at me. For the first time. There was something like respect in his eyes. "What do you want me to do?" "First, you're going to call Sasha. You're going to tell her that we've talked. That we've worked things out. And that she needs to move out of my guest house by the end of the week. Done. Second, you're going to marry me. Next week. Not next month. Not next season. Next week." He frowned. "That's fast. My mother will." "I don't care about your mother. I care about sending a message. To Sasha. To everyone who thought they could use us." I stepped closer. "Unless you don't want to marry me anymore." "No." He said it too quickly. "No. I want to marry you. I love you." Love. Such a small word for such a big lie. "Then call Sasha. Now." He pulled out his phone. Dialed. Put it on speaker. Sasha answered on the second ring. "Alex. Is everything okay?" "Hazel knows," he said. "About us." A pause. Then. "What did you tell her?" "I told her the truth. That it was a mistake. That it's over. Hazel knows." Sasha's voice was flat. "And she's okay with it. She's giving me another chance. But you need to move out of her guest house. By Friday." Another pause. Longer this time. "I see," Sasha said. "And if I don't? Then I'll tell everyone what you've been doing. The stealing. The lies." His voice was hard now. Genuinely angry. "You think the Hales don't have lawyers? You think we can't make your life hell?" Silence. Then. "Fine. I'll be out by Friday." "Good." Alexander hung up. Looked at me. "Done." I smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Good boy. I left Alexander's townhouse at noon feeling lighter than I had in months. Not happy. I wasn't sure I remembered what happy felt like. But clear. Focused. The trap was set. Sasha would be panicking now. She'd thought she had Alexander wrapped around her finger. She'd thought I was the obstacle, the one who needed to be removed. But I just turned her greatest weapon against her. Let her try to poison me now. Let her try to put that brooch on my chest while I was dying. I wasn't going to be the victim anymore. But I also wasn't going to be the hero. Silas had been clear about that. You can't kill a demon. He'd said, you can only banish it. And you can't banish it unless it shows itself. Which means you need to provoke it. Push Sasha until the thing inside her comes out to play. How do I do that? Threaten her contract. Demons care about one thing: completion. If she fails to deliver your soul by the agreed upon time, the contract is void, and the demon takes her soul instead. So if I just stay alive, the demon will get desperate. And desperate demons make mistakes. That was the plan. Stay alive. Stay visible. Stay one step ahead. And let Sasha destroy herself trying to catch me. I drove home. Checked the locks. Checked the safe. The brooch was still there. Black onyx and crushed bone. Waiting. Then I called Silas. She's moving out on Friday. I said. I told Alexander she's been stealing. He's furious. Good. Keep him angry. Men like that are easier to manipulate when they're angry. What's next? Next, you go to the engagement party. The real one. The one you canceled. I thought you said. I said not to confront her directly. I didn't say to hide. His voice was patient. Teacherly. You need to be seen. Hazel. At parties. At galas. At every event Sasha might attend. You need to be alive and happy and untouchable. It'll drive her crazy. And Alexander. Bring him. Let him play the devoted fiancé. Let him show everyone how much he loves you. A pause. Let Sasha watch. I thought about that. About walking into a room with Alexander on my arm. Smiling at Sasha like nothing had happened. About the look on her face when she realized I wasn't going to disappear. You're evil. I said. No. I'm just old. There's a difference. Friday came faster than I expected. Sasha moved out of the guest house at 9 a.m. I watched from my window as she loaded boxes into a rented U-Haul. She was alone. No friends to help. No moving company. Just her. A truck. And 6 months of things she'd bought with my money. She didn't look up at my window. Didn't wave. Didn't acknowledge me at all. But when she drove away, I saw her face in the side mirror. She was smiling. That should have worried me. It did worry me. But I pushed the worry down and focused on the next step. The engagement party was rescheduled for Saturday. 8 p.m. The Four Seasons. All of Boston's elite would be there, wearing their best clothes and their fakest smiles. Alexander picked me up at 7. He was wearing a new suit. Navy. Custom. Tailored. Probably cost more than Sasha's entire wardrobe. He looked handsome. He looked like the man I'd fallen in love with. Then he opened his mouth. You look good, he said. Really good. Thank you. Alex. Are we okay? Really okay. We're fine. I took his arm. Let's go make an entrance. The party was exactly what I expected. Crystal chandeliers. Champagne towers. A string quartet playing something classical and boring. Priscilla Hale in emerald green. Holding court by the fireplace. Alexander's father. Harold. Already drunk and telling the same story about the '87 market crash. And Sasha. She was standing by the bar, wearing a red dress that I'd bought her last Christmas. Her hair was down. Her makeup was perfect. And her eyes. Her eyes were brown. Normal brown. Human brown. I felt a chill run down my spine. Smile. I whispered to Alexander. What? Smile like you're happy. He smiled. It looked real enough. We walked into the room together. And the crowd parted like we were royalty. People reached out to touch my arm. Congratulate me. Tell me how beautiful I looked. I nodded and smiled and said thank you like a wind. Up doll. And all the while, I was watching Sasha. She didn't approach us. Didn't try to talk to Alexander. Just stood by the bar. Sipping champagne. Watching me. At 8:30, I made my move. I stepped up to the small stage where the string quartet was playing. Tapped the microphone. The room went quiet. Thank you all for coming, I said. My voice was steady. I was proud of that. I know the last party was canceled on short notice. I apologize for any confusion. Murmurs. Nods. Polite smiles. The truth is, I continued. I've been keeping a secret, and I think it's time to share it. Sasha set down her champagne glass. Alexander's smile faltered. The doctors say I have 6 months. Gasps. The room erupted in whispers. Priscilla's hand flew to her mouth. Harold stopped mid-story. I'm sorry. Alexander stepped toward the stage. Hazel. What are you? I'm dying, I said. Louder this time. I have a rare genetic disorder. There's no cure. The doctors give me 6 months. Maybe less. Tears were streaming down my face. Real tears. Fake tears. Even I wasn't sure anymore. And I refused to make Alexander a widower. I looked at him. Let the tears fall. I love you too much to let you watch me waste away. Hazel. So I'm setting him free. I turned back to the crowd. The engagement is off. But I know the perfect woman for him. Someone who has been by his side all along. Someone who loves him the way he deserves to be loved. I looked at Sasha. Everyone looked at Sasha. My best friend. I said, Sasha Gray. The room went silent. Sasha's face was a mask. Frozen. Unreadable. But her eyes. For just a second. They flashed black. Sasha. I said, raising my glass. Take care of him for me. I drank. The room erupted in awkward applause. People didn't know whether to congratulate Sasha or console me. They did a little of both. Shuffling between us like confused penguins. Alexander was staring at me with an expression I couldn't read. What the hell was that? He whispered when he got close. A gift. I said, for both of you. I don't want to marry Sasha. Then don't. But the engagement is off. I patted his cheek. You're free, Alex. Just like you wanted. I walked away before he could respond. Sasha caught me by the coat check. What are you doing? Her voice was low. Angry. What game are you playing? No game. I smiled. I'm dying. Sasha. Remember. The doctors said 6 months. You're not dying. How do you know? Are you a doctor? She stepped closer. Her perfume was overwhelming. Flowers and rot. I know what you're doing. She hissed. You're trying to ruin everything. I'm giving you everything. I tilted my head. Alexander. The money. The life. Isn't that what you wanted? Her face twisted. For a moment, I saw something underneath. Something old and angry and hungry. Then it was gone. You'll regret this, she said. Probably. I stepped around her. But not today. I walked out of the party, got in my car, and drove home. When I got to my penthouse, I poured myself a glass of real champagne from a bottle I'd bought myself. Sealed, untampered, and called Silas. It's done, I said. How did she react? Her eyes went black. Just for a second. Good. That means the demon is close to the surface. Keep pushing. How much longer? However long it takes. A pause. Can you do this? Hazel. Can you keep pretending? I looked at my reflection in the window. The woman staring back at me looked tired. Old. Like she'd lived 1,000 years in the past 3 days. I don't have a choice. I said. Everyone has a choice. Then I choose revenge. Silas was quiet for a moment. Then welcome to the long game, he said. It's going to hurt. I know. But when it's over, you'll be free. I thought about Sasha's black eyes, Alexander's fake smile, the brooch in my safe, waiting to trap my soul. I've never been free, I said. I don't even know what it feels like. You will. Silas's voice was soft. I promise. I hung up, finished my champagne, and waited for the next move. The morning after the party, my phone exploded. 70. 3 text messages. 40. 1 missed calls. 12 voicemails. My social media was a war zone. Half the comments called me a saint for stepping aside. The other half called me an idiot for giving up a man like Alexander Hale. Neither group knew the truth. I was neither a saint nor an idiot. I was a woman who'd already died once. And I wasn't planning on doing it again. The only message I answered was from Silas. She's going to come at you sideways, he said. Not directly. Demons don't like direct confrontation when they're weak. She'll try to isolate you, turn people against you, make you look unstable. How do I fight that? You don't. You let her try. And you document everything. A pause. Do you have cameras in your penthouse? Not yet. Get them. Today. And carry a voice recorder. If she threatens you, you want proof. I spent the morning installing cameras. 6 of them. Covering every entrance and every room except the bathroom. The security company thought I was paranoid. They didn't know the half of it. At noon, there was a knock on my door. Not Sasha. Not Alexander. A delivery man in a blue uniform, holding a bouquet of white roses. Ms. Vance. Yes. These are for you. He handed me the flowers. Have a nice day. I took the bouquet inside, set it on the counter. There was no card, no note, just white roses, wrapped in brown paper and tied with black ribbon. White roses. The same flowers that had been at my funeral in the other timeline. I called Silas. White roses. I said, no card, no sender. Don't touch them. I'll be there in 20 minutes. When he arrived, he didn't bother with pleasantries. He walked straight to the bouquet, pulled a small glass vial from his pocket, and dripped something clear onto the petals. The roses turned black. What the hell? I stepped back. Thornapple extract, Silas said. Reacts to demonic residue. He held up the vial. Someone touched these with unclean hands. Sasha. Probably. Or whatever's wearing her face. He bagged the roses carefully, sealing them in plastic. She's sending a message. She wants you to know she can reach you anywhere. Then why not just kill me? Because she can't. Not yet. The contract requires a specific method. Probably something tied to a date or an event. He looked at me. When's the wedding supposed to be? Originally. September. But I told Alexander the first wanted to move it up. Next week. Don't. Keep it on the original date. That gives us more time. More time for what? For her to make a mistake. Sasha didn't wait long. 3 days after the party, I got a call from my wedding planner. A woman named Denise, who'd been coordinating every detail for the past 8 months. Ms. Vance, I'm so sorry to bother you, she said. But there's been a complication. What kind of complication? Your flowers. The orchids you ordered from the supplier in Miami. They've been canceled. I didn't cancel them. I know. That's why I'm calling. The cancellation came from an email address with your name. But the IP address traces to a different location. Where? Denise hesitated. Cambridge. A public library. Sasha didn't have a computer at her new place. She told me that when she moved out. Said she was going minimalist. But a public library. That was either desperate or stupid. Order new flowers. I said, different supplier. And add a password to every vendor account. Anyone who wants to make changes has to give the password. Of course. Ms. Vance. I'm so sorry this is happening. Don't be sorry. Just fix it. The next day, my caterer called. The day after that, my venue. Someone was systematically trying to dismantle my wedding from the inside. Someone who knew all my vendor contacts, all my passwords, all my security questions. Someone who'd been living in my guest house for 6 months, watching me type my login credentials, listening to my phone calls, reading my mail. Sasha hadn't just been stealing my money. She'd been stealing my life. I called Alexander. Your girlfriend is trying to cancel our wedding. I said, she's not my girlfriend. I told you. It's over. Tell that to the caterer she called yesterday. And the florist she emailed. And the venue she tried to double. Book. Silence. Then, are you sure it's her? The IP address is traced to her neighborhood. Alex. I'm not stupid. Nobody said you were. Then stop defending her. I took a breath, calmed my voice. I'm not angry at you. I'm telling you what's happening. She's trying to ruin us. What do you want me to do? Talk to her. Tell her to back off. If she doesn't, I'm going to the police. She'll deny it. Then I'll show them the evidence. I paused. Unless you have a better idea. He didn't. Of course he didn't. Alexander had never had a better idea in his life. That was why his father still ran the family business. Why his mother still managed his schedule. Why he needed a woman like me to tell him when to breathe. I'll talk to her, he said finally. Tonight. Thank you. Alex. Don't thank me. Just don't cancel the wedding. Okay. I'm not canceling anything. I hung up, called Silas. He's going to warn her. I said, Alexander. He's going to tell her to back off. Good. That'll make her angry. Won't she just try harder? Probably. But anger makes people sloppy. And right now, we need her to be sloppy. Alexander talked to Sasha that night. I know because she showed up at my penthouse the next morning. Not angry. Not threatening. Just sad. Hazel, can we talk? She was standing in my doorway, wearing jeans and a shirt. No makeup. Her hair in a messy ponytail. She looked like the old Sasha. The one I'd met at Brown. The one I'd thought was my friend. What is there to talk about? Everything. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. Or practicing crying. With Sasha. It was hard to tell. Please. 5 minutes. I let her in. She sat on my couch, looking small and lost. I sat across from her, keeping distance. I'm sorry, she said, for everything. The affair. The lies. I never meant to hurt you. You had an affair with my fiancé in my own house. Sasha, how did you think that would make me feel? I wasn't thinking. I don't know. Jealous. Lonely. You had everything. And I had nothing. And Alex was so sweet to me. And you wanted what I had. Yes. She wiped her eyes. I know that's horrible. I know I'm a horrible person. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to fix things. By canceling my wedding vendors. She flinched. That wasn't me. The IP addresses say otherwise. Someone could have used my Wi-Fi. Someone could have. Stop. I held up a hand. Just stop lying to me. It's the one thing I can't forgive. She stared at me for a long moment. Then her face changed. The tears stopped. The sadness faded. And underneath was something cold. Something hard. You're not dying. Are you? What? The 6 months. The genetic disorder. It's all bullshit. She leaned forward. I checked. I called every hospital in Boston. You've never been diagnosed with anything. I didn't flinch. Didn't blink. Just looked at her. I never said I was diagnosed in Boston. Then where? Switzerland. A private clinic. I smiled. You wouldn't have access to those records. Her jaw tightened. You're lying. Am I? I stood up. You've been trying to destroy my wedding for a week. You had an affair with my fiancé. You stole from our joint account. And now you're standing in my living room, accusing me of lying about a terminal illness. You're not sick. Hazel. You're just crazy. Maybe. I walked to the door. Opened it. But I'm crazy in my own penthouse. And you need to leave. She didn't move. Just sat there, staring at me with those brown eyes that weren't really brown. You think you've won something, she said quietly. You haven't. This isn't over. I know it isn't. She stood up, walked to the door, paused in the doorway. Alexander is going to leave you, she said. Eventually. He'll get bored. Or he'll find someone younger. Or he'll just realize that you're not as special as you think you are. And when that happens, I'll be there. Good luck with that. She left. I closed the door, locked it, leaned against the wood, and let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. My hands were shaking. That night, I had a dream. Not a dream. A memory. The other timeline. The one where I died. I was back on the bathroom floor. The champagne bottle was rolling across the tile, leaving a trail of gold. Sasha was standing over me, her eyes black, her voice wrong. The demon requires a soul. I tried to move. Couldn't. Alexander offered yours. I tried to scream. Couldn't. Your soul was just the first payment. Then Sasha leaned down, pressed her cold lips to my forehead, and whispered something I hadn't heard the first time. He's next. After you. The contract says 3 souls. Yours. His. And the baby's. Baby? What baby? I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my teeth. Baby? I wasn't pregnant. I knew I wasn't pregnant. I'd had my period last week. And before that, I'd been careful. But the dream had felt real. More real than a dream should feel. I grabbed my phone. 3:17 a.m. I called Silas. It's 3 in the morning, he said. His voice was groggy but alert. He answered on the first ring. He'd been expecting this. I had a dream. I said, a memory. From the other timeline. Tell me. I told him. Everything. The bathroom. The champagne. The black eyes. And the last part. The part about the 3 souls. When I finished, Silas was quiet for a long time. 3 souls. He said finally. That's not a standard contract. That's a pyramid. A demon feeds on the first soul to gain power. Uses that power to claim the second. And so on. By the time it gets to the third. It's strong enough to manifest physically. Manifest how? Walk the earth. Take a permanent form. His voice was grim. If that demon had claimed 3 souls, yours, Alexander's, and an unborn child's, it would have been able to leave Sasha's body and exist independently. An unborn child. My hand drifted to my stomach. Was I pregnant? I don't know. But demons don't lie about contracts. If the dream said 3 souls, then 3 souls were required. I felt sick. Sasha was going to kill my baby. Not your baby. A soul. To a demon. A fetus is just a potential vessel. No different from an adult. That's worse. Silas. That's so much worse. I know. His voice softened. But that timeline is gone. You're alive. The baby, if there was a baby, doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist. Or doesn't exist yet. Silas didn't answer. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. At 7 a.m., I went to the pharmacy. Bought a pregnancy test. Took it in my bathroom. Watching the little window like it was a bomb about to detonate. Negative. I took another one. Also negative. I took a third. Just to be sure. Negative. I wasn't pregnant. But in the other timeline, I might have been. And that meant Sasha, or the demon inside her, had been planning to kill not just me, but my child. I sat on the bathroom floor, the same floor where I died, and I let myself feel it. The rage, the fear, the grief for a baby I'd never had and never lost. Then I stood up, washed my face, got dressed, and went to see Alexander. He was at his townhouse, eating breakfast alone. The maid let me in. He looked surprised to see me. Hazel, what are you? We need to talk. I sat down across from him. About Sasha. What about her? I talked to her yesterday. I told her to back off. I know. She came to see me this morning. He set down his fork. What did she want? To apologize. To explain. To make me feel sorry for her. Did it work? No. I leaned forward. But she said something interesting. She said you're going to leave me. Eventually. When you get bored. Alexander's face flushed. That's not true. Isn't it? You already had an affair with her. What's to stop you from doing it again? Because I love you. Love isn't enough. Alex. Love doesn't fix trust. Love doesn't erase betrayal. I paused. I need to know something. And I need you to be honest with me. Okay. Did Sasha ever talk to you about contracts? Agreements? Anything like that? His face went blank. Too blank. The kind of blank that meant he was hiding something. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes. You do. I leaned closer. I know about the texts. Alex. The ones you said you didn't send. I know about the money she's been stealing. And I know about the contract. What contract? The one where you offered my soul in exchange for something. He went pale. His hands started shaking. I didn't. That wasn't. He stopped. Swallowed. Started again. Sasha came to me 6 months ago. She said she knew someone who could help us. Help me. With the business. With my father. With everything. Help you how? She said this person could make my father retire early. Could make the board vote in my favor. Could make everything I touched turn to gold. He looked at his hands. All I had to do was sign something. And you signed it. I didn't know what it was. She said it was just a formality. A way to show commitment. What did the contract say? Alex. I don't know. I didn't read it. He looked up at me. And for the first time, I saw real fear in his eyes. Hazel. I didn't read it. Then how do you know you offered my soul? Because she told me. Afterwards. She said the contract required a sacrifice. A life. And she said. He trailed off. She said what? She said you were going to die anyway. That it would be quick. That I wouldn't have to watch. Tears were streaming down his face now. I didn't want to do it. I told her no. But she said it was too late. The contract was signed. The deal was done. Who did you sign it with? Who was the person? I don't know. I never met him. Her. It. He wiped his eyes. Sasha handled everything. I sat back in my chair. Looked at this man I'd almost married. This week. Pathetic. Easily manipulated man. You signed away my soul without even reading the contract. I said. You killed me. Alex. In every way that matters. You killed me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't bring me back. But you're not dead. You're here. You're alive. Barely. I stood up. I need to think. I need to figure out what to do next. What can I do? Tell me. I'll do anything. I looked at him. This man who'd sold me for power. This man who'd cried when he got caught. But not when he made the deal. Get me a copy of the contract. I said. Find it. Bring it to me. And don't tell Sasha. I don't know where she keeps. Then find out. I walked to the door. This is your chance. Alex. Your chance to make things right. Don't waste it. I left him sitting at his breakfast table, crying into his eggs. And I didn't feel sorry for him at all. Alexander came through. 3 days later, a courier delivered a manila envelope to my penthouse. No return address. No identifying marks. Just my name, written in Alexander's cramped handwriting. Inside was the contract. It wasn't paper. It was vellum. Old, yellowed vellum that felt like skin when I touched it. The writing was in a language I didn't recognize. Symbols and characters that seemed to shift when I looked at them directly. At the bottom were 3 signatures. One was Alexander's. I recognized his scrawl from 100 dinner checks. One was Sasha's, loopy and dramatic, with a heart dotting the I. And one was written in what looked like blood. No name, just a symbol. A spiral with 7 points, each one ending in a tiny flame. I called Silas. I have the contract. I said, don't touch it. I'm on my way. He arrived within the hour, carrying a leather satchel that clinked when he walked. He spread the contract out on my kitchen counter and examined it for a long time without speaking. Well, I said finally, it's genuine. He pointed to the spiral symbol. That's the sigil of Abelum, a lesser demon. Specializes in soul contracts and possession. Abelum. Is that what's inside Sasha? Yes. And it's getting stronger. He traced his finger down the page. Look here. The contract specifies a timeline. Your soul was to be delivered on the night of the engagement party. That's why she tried to kill you then. But she failed. Correct. Which means the contract is now in default. He looked up at me. Abelum has 3 options. 1. Renegotiate the terms. 2. Claim a substitute soul. Probably Alexander's. 3. Possess Sasha permanently and try to fulfill the contract itself. Possess her permanently. Right now, Abelum is riding Sasha like a passenger. It can speak through her, influence her, but it can't control her completely. Permanent possession means Sasha's consciousness is suppressed. She becomes a shell, a puppet, and if that happens, then you're dealing with a demon directly. No human intermediary. No emotions to exploit. Just a predator that wants your soul. I looked at the contract. At the blood. Red sigil at the bottom. So we need to stop it before that happens. Yes. Silas rolled up the vellum carefully. I'm going to need to stay here. Close to you. If Abelum decides to move against you directly, you won't have much warning. You want to move into my penthouse. I want to sleep on your couch. Keep my distance, but be close enough to intervene. I thought about it. A strange man in my home. In my space. Watching me sleep. Do you have references? I asked. Silas almost smiled. I have a reputation. Ask around. The Boston occult community knows me. I don't exactly run in occult circles. Then you'll have to trust me. Trust. Such a small word for such a big risk. Fine, I said. But if you try anything, I won't. He picked up his satchel. I've been doing this for 20 years. Ms. Vance. I don't steal from clients. I don't hurt clients. And I don't let clients get murdered by demons. Good. Because I've already been murdered once. I don't recommend it. Silas moved in that night. He brought a duffel bag, a briefcase, and a wooden box that he kept in his lap during the drive. When I asked what was in the box, he said, insurance. I didn't ask again. He set up in my guest room, the same room Sasha had used, which felt like a calculated choice. I didn't mention it. Neither did he. The first few days were quiet. Too quiet. I went to work, came home, went to bed. Silas stayed in the guest room or on the couch, reading books that smelled like mildew and making notes in a leather journal. Alexander called every day. I let him go to voicemail. Sasha didn't call at all. That should have worried me. It did worry me. But Silas said not to engage. She's waiting for you to make a move. He explained. Don't. Let her wait. On the fourth day, I came home to find Sasha's car in my parking garage. Not parked. Just sitting. Engine off. Lights off. Dark windows that I couldn't see through. I kept walking. Got in the elevator. Pressed the button for my floor. The doors didn't close. I pressed the button again. Nothing. Then the lights flickered, and Sasha's voice came through the elevator speaker. Hello. Hazel. I didn't scream. Didn't run. Just stood there, looking up at the speaker grill. What do you want? Sasha. To talk. Like we used to. A pause. Remember when we used to talk? Real talks. About our dreams and our fears and our hopes. I remember you lying to me for 6 years. I wasn't lying. I was surviving. The speaker crackled. You don't know what it's like to have nothing. To be nothing. To watch everyone around you get everything you ever wanted while you scrape by on crumbs. So you decided to take what I had. Not take. Share. That's what friends do. Hazel. They share. Friends don't sign contracts with demons. Silence. Then. You know about that. I know everything. Sasha. I know about Abelum. I know about the 3 souls. I know about the baby. The elevator shook. When Sasha spoke again. Her voice was wrong. Too deep. Too old. You know nothing. The lights went out. The elevator dropped. Not far. Just a few inches. But enough to make my stomach lurch. Then the doors opened. Sasha was standing there. But it wasn't Sasha. Her eyes were black. Her skin was pale. Almost gray. Her mouth was open too wide, showing too many teeth. You should have stayed dead. She said. That was the plan. That was the contract. You were supposed to stay dead. I don't like following plans. The thing that wore Sasha's face laughed. It was a horrible sound. Like breaking glass and crying babies. Neither do I. It lunged. And Silas stepped out of the stairwell with the iron chain in his hands. The chain hit Sasha across the chest. And she screamed. Not a human scream. Something louder. Something that made the elevator lights explode and the floor tiles crack. Abelum. Silas's voice was like a whip crack. You are not welcome here. This space is protected. This woman is protected. Leave now. Or I will bind you to the iron until the sun burns out. The demon hissed. Black smoke curled from Sasha's mouth. She is mine. It said. The contract. The contract is void. The soul was not delivered. You have no claim here. She will die. One way or another. I will have her. You will have nothing. Silas stepped forward. Chain swinging. Now leave. The demon screamed again. Then Sasha collapsed. Silas caught her before she hit the ground. Laid her gently on the floor. Checked her pulse. She's alive, he said. But the demon's gone. For now. I leaned against the wall. My legs were shaking. That was Abelum. That was a fraction of Abelum. The demon isn't strong enough to manifest fully yet. But it's getting there. He looked at me. We're running out of time. We carried Sasha to my penthouse. Laid her on the couch. Silas bound her wrists and ankles with the iron chain. Not tight enough to hurt, but tight enough to keep her from moving. She woke up an hour later. Her eyes were brown again. Human brown. What happened? She asked. Her voice was weak. Confused. Where am I? My penthouse. I said. You tried to kill me. What? She looked down at the chains. Why am I tied up? Because you're possessed. Sasha. By a demon named Abelum. You sold your soul to it. And now it's trying to collect. She stared at me. Then she started to laugh. Not a demon laugh. A human laugh. Bitter and broken and sad. You think I don't know? She said. You think I don't know what I did? You remember. I remember everything. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I remember signing the contract. I remember the thing inside me. I remember the night of your party. The champagne. The way you looked at me when you died. She sobbed. I remember watching you die. Hazel. And I remember feeling happy about it. I didn't know what to say to that. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Sasha continued. I know I don't deserve it. I want you to know that I'm sorry. The real me. The one who used to be your friend. I'm so sorry. The real you sold your soul for a modeling contract. I said, that doesn't sound like a good friend. It wasn't a modeling contract. She closed her eyes. I sold my soul for you. I froze. What? At Brown. Freshman year. You were the only person who was nice to me. The only one who saw me. And I was so scared of losing you that She swallowed. I made a deal. I said I'd give anything to keep you as my friend. To never be alone again. That doesn't. The demon appeared that night. In my dorm room. It said it could make you love me. Make you need me. Make you never leave. She opened her eyes. All I had to do was sign. And you signed. I was 18. I was desperate. I didn't know what I was doing. Her voice cracked. But the demon didn't make you love me. Hazel. You did that on your own. You were my friend because you wanted to be. Not because of some contract. Then why did you try to kill me? Because the demon got hungry. She looked at her bound wrists. It's been feeding on me for years. Taking pieces of my soul. Making me darker. More jealous. More desperate. By the time I realized what was happening, it was too late. It was already inside me. And Alexander. That was the demon's idea. It said if I could get you out of the way, if I could take your place, it would let me keep my soul. Let me live. She laughed again. Stupid. Right. Trusting a demon. Extremely stupid. Yeah. She looked at me. So what happens now? You kill me. I'm not killing anyone. Then what? I looked at Silas. He shrugged. We banish the demon. I said, and we break the contract. Can you do that? I don't know. But I'm going to try. Sasha closed her eyes. For a moment. She looked like the girl I'd met at Brown. Scared and hopeful and so desperately lonely. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet. Keeping Sasha in my penthouse wasn't sustainable. Silas knew it. I knew it. Even Sasha. Bound. Broken. Barely human. Knew it. But we needed her. Not for her company. For her connection to Abelum. As long as the demon was inside her. We could track it. Contain it. Maybe even destroy it. You can't destroy a demon. Silas said for the third time. You can only banish it back to its own realm. Fine. Banish it. I don't care about the semantics. Semantics matter when you're dealing with the infernal. He was sitting at my kitchen table, reading from one of his mildew, smelling books. Abelum is a minor demon. But minor doesn't mean weak. It's been feeding on human souls for centuries. It knows how to hide, how to wait, how to strike when you least expect it. So, how do we make it stop hiding? We threaten its food source. He looked up. You. Me. The contract is void. But Abelum doesn't accept that. It still wants your soul. And as long as you're alive and unclaimed, it will keep trying. He closed the book. Unless you give it something else. Something else like what? Like a public declaration. A renunciation. Something that makes it clear you're not available for harvest. I thought about that. About standing up in front of everyone and saying I'm not dying. I'm not engaged. And I'm not a victim. I have an idea. I said. 3 days later. I threw a party. Not a wedding party. Not an engagement party. Just a party. At the Four Seasons. With all the same guests who'd watched me announce my terminal illness. Alexander came. He looked terrible. Dark circles under his eyes. Clothes that didn't quite fit. Hands that wouldn't stop shaking. Sasha came to. Unbound but watched. Silas stood in the corner, holding his iron chain under his jacket. When everyone had a drink, I took the microphone. "Thank you all for coming," I said. "I know the last few weeks have been confusing. I told you I was dying. I told you I was ending my engagement. I told you a lot of things that weren't true." Murmurs. Whispered confusion. "The truth is," I continued, "I'm not dying. I never was. The doctors, the diagnosis, the 6-month timeline, all of it was a lie." Alexander's head snapped up. His eyes were wide. "I lied because I was scared," I said. "I found out that my fiancé was having an affair with my best friend. And instead of confronting them, I made up a story. I played the victim. I made everyone feel sorry for me." More murmurs. Louder now. "I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not ashamed either. Because the affair wasn't the worst part." I looked at Sasha. "The worst part was the contract." Contract. Someone asked. Sasha made a deal. With a demon. She sold her soul in exchange for my life. And Alexander signed it too. He signed away my soul without even reading the fine print. The room went silent. Then people started laughing. Not cruel laughter. Nervous laughter. The kind of laughter that comes when someone says something so outrageous that you don't know how else to respond. "Hazel, you're not making sense," Priscilla Hale said. Her voice was tight. "Demons. Contracts. This isn't a movie." "You're right. It's not a movie. It's my life." I set down the microphone. Walked over to Sasha. Took her hand. She flinched. Didn't pull away. "Show them," I said quietly. "Show them what?" "The demon. Just for a second. Let them see." "I can't. It won't." "Make it." Sasha closed her eyes. Her body tensed. And then her eyes opened. Black. Completely black. The room erupted. Screams. Chairs scraping back. Glasses shattering on the floor. "Jesus Christ." Someone shouted. "What the hell is that?" "Someone call 911. Sasha's mouth opened. Abelum's voice came out. Deep and old and terrible. "You called. Hazel Vance." "I did. I didn't step back. Didn't flinch. I wanted my friends to meet you." The demon laughed. The lights flickered. The temperature dropped 20 degrees. "They cannot help you. No one can. Your soul is mine. My soul is mine. And I'm not giving it to you. The contract is void. You failed to collect. Now leave." "Or what?" I looked at Silas. He stepped forward. Chain swinging. "Or I bind you to this vessel for eternity," he said. "You'll spend the rest of existence trapped in a human body, feeling everything it feels. Hunger. Pain. Fear. You'll never feed again. Never hunt again. Never go home." The demon hissed. "You wouldn't." "Try me." They stared at each other. Human and demon. Chain and soul. Then Sasha collapsed. The black eyes faded. The temperature returned to normal. The lights stopped flickering. And the room full of Boston's elite stared at me with expressions ranging from terror to awe. "Now do you believe me?" I asked. No one answered. Alexander found me in the parking garage. "I didn't know," he said. "About the demon. About any of it. Sasha said it was just a business thing. A way to help my career. You signed a contract in blood. Alex, what did you think it was?" "I didn't know it was blood. I thought it was red ink." He ran a hand through his hair. "I'm not stupid. Hazel. I'm weak. I've always been weak. I know. And I'm sorry. For everything. For the affair. For the contract. For not being the man you deserved." Sorry doesn't fix it. I know that too. He stepped closer. But I want to try. I want to make it right. How? I'll testify. In whatever proceeding you need. I'll tell everyone what Sasha did. What I did. I'll ruin myself if it means helping you. I looked at this man. This weak. Foolish. Easily manipulated man. I don't need you to ruin yourself. I said. I need you to be better. How? Start by reading everything before you sign it. He almost smiled. I can do that. Good. I turned to leave. And Alex. Yeah. Stay away from Sasha. She's not your friend. She's not your lover. She's a victim and a predator and a tragedy all wrapped up together. You can't fix her. I don't want to fix her. I want to forget her. Then forget. I walked to my car. Got in. Drove home. Sasha was waiting on my couch. Silas was in the corner. Reading his book. Is it over? Sasha asked. No. I said. It's just beginning. The video went viral within hours. Someone at the party had recorded the whole thing. Sasha's black eyes. Abelham's voice. The lights flickering. The temperature dropping. By morning, every news outlet in Boston was calling it everything from a hoax to a genuine supernatural event. I didn't correct them. Let them speculate. Let them argue. The more attention the video got, the harder it became for Abelham to hide. Silas was pleased. Demons thrive in secrecy. He explained. Publicity weakens them. Makes them harder to possess people when everyone's watching for the signs. So we keep going public. We keep pushing. But carefully. Abelham is desperate now. Desperate predators are dangerous. Sasha stayed in my guest room. Not because I wanted her there. I didn't. But because Silas insisted. She's our link to the demon. He said, if she disappears, we lose our only way to track it. Can't you track it without her? Not easily. Demons don't leave traces the way humans do. They exist in the spaces between. Between thoughts. Between heartbeats. Between moments of weakness. Sasha is a doorway. Close the door. And we're locked out. So Sasha stayed. Bound at night. Watched during the day. She didn't complain. Didn't fight. Just sat in the guest room. Staring at the wall. Speaking only when spoken to. It was unnerving. The old Sasha. The one I'd known before. Had never been quiet. She'd always been performing. Always been on. Always been trying to charm or manipulate or seduce. This new Sasha was a ghost. A shell. A woman who'd been hollowed out from the inside. I tried not to feel sorry for her. I failed. 3 days after the party, I got a call from Alexander's mother. Priscilla Hale was not a woman who made social calls. She summoned. She demanded. She did not dial. So when her name appeared on my screen, I knew something was wrong. Hazel, she said. Her voice was clipped. Professional. We need to discuss the situation. Which situation? Don't play dumb. The video. The demon. The spectacle you made at the Four Seasons. A pause. My husband is considering disinheriting Alexander. Do you understand what that means? That your husband has good instincts. This isn't a joke. Hazel. The Hale family has been a pillar of Boston society for 6 generations. We don't have demon possessions. We don't have viral videos. We don't have scandals. You had an affair. You had a contract signed in blood. You just didn't know about it. The contract is void. Alexander's lawyer is handling it. The contract was signed with a demon. Priscilla, your lawyer can't void that. Silence. Then, what do you want? Excuse me. You heard me. You're not doing this out of altruism. You want something. What is it? I thought about it. What did I want? Money. I had money. Revenge. I was getting it. Safety. Silas was handling that. I want you to acknowledge what happened. I said finally. Publicly. No more secrets. No more covering things up. The Hales have been hiding their problems for 6 generations. It's time to stop. You want us to admit that our son signed a demonic contract. I want you to stop pretending your family is perfect. Priscilla was quiet for a long time. Alexander told me about the baby. She said finally, the one the demon wanted. The one that would have been our grandchild. My hand went to my stomach. Involuntary. Instinctive. I wasn't pregnant. He said the demon believed you were. In the other timeline, the one you don't remember. I remember enough. Then you know why we can't go public. If people find out that a demon targeted our family, that it wanted our bloodline, then they'll know the truth. That money doesn't protect you. That old names don't matter. That anyone can be a victim. Priscilla sighed. It was the sound of a woman who'd spent her whole life building walls, only to watch them crumble. I'll think about it, she said. That's all I can promise. It's more than I expected. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. She hung up. I set down the phone, looked at Sasha, who was standing in the doorway of the guest room, watching me. She's not going to help you, Sasha said. The Hales only care about the Hales. I know. Then why did you call her? I didn't. She called me. Sasha tilted her head. What did she want? To negotiate. To protect her family. To pretend none of this is happening. Sounds like someone else I know. I looked at her. Are you talking about me? I'm talking about everyone. She stepped into the living room. We all pretend. We all lie. We all tell ourselves stories about who we are and what we deserve. The only difference is that I got caught. You got possessed. Sasha, that's not the same as getting caught, isn't it? She sat down on the couch. I wanted what you had. I made a deal to get it. The deal went bad. Now I'm paying the price. That's not possession. That's consequences. You sold your soul to a demon. For you. Because I was scared of losing you. She looked at her hands. I know that doesn't make it better. I know it doesn't change anything. But I need you to understand. I didn't do this because I hated you. I did this because I loved you too much. That's not love. No. It's obsession. Possession. The same thing the demon feels. She looked up at me. We're not so different. Hazel. You and me and the thing inside me. We all want to own the people we love. That's not true, isn't it? You controlled Alexander with your money, your connections, your social standing. You never loved him. You loved the idea of him. The way he looked on your arm. The way people envied you when you walked into a room together. That's not. Yes, it is. Her voice was soft. Not cruel. Just tired. I've been watching you for 6 years. Hazel. I know your patterns. Your insecurities. The way you need to be needed. Alexander wasn't a partner. He was a prop. And when he stopped playing his role, you didn't mourn him. You mourned the loss of control. I wanted to argue. Wanted to tell her she was wrong. But she wasn't. That night, I sat on my balcony and looked at the stars. Boston at night was beautiful. All those lights. All those lives. All those secrets hidden behind closed doors. Silas joined me. He didn't speak. Just stood next to me, looking up at the same sky. She's not wrong. You know, I said finally. About me. About Alexander. About control. I know. Does that make me a bad person? No. It makes you a human person. He leaned against the railing. We all want control. We all want to be safe. The difference is what we're willing to do to get it. I was willing to marry a man I didn't love. You were willing to be loved, even if it wasn't real. Even if it was just performance. He looked at me. That's not a crime. Hazel. That's just lonely. I laughed. It was a hollow sound. I have everything. Money. Status. A penthouse with a view. And I'm the loneliest person I know. You're not lonely. You're isolated. There's a difference. He turned to face me. Lonely means no one wants to be near you. Isolated means you won't let them. You think I push people away. I think you've been hurt. By people who were supposed to love you. By your parents. Maybe. Or your exes. Or your friends. He paused. By Sasha. Especially by Sasha. Yes. Especially by her. I looked back at the stars. How do I stop? How do I let people in when I know they might hurt me? You don't. You let them in anyway. And you accept that hurt is part of the deal. He touched my shoulder. Lightly. Briefly. That's what courage is. Hazel. Not being unafraid. Being afraid and doing it anyway. I'm not brave. Yes. You are. You died. And you came back. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's a second chance. And you're using it. He stepped back. That's more than most people do. I didn't have an answer for that. So I just stood there, looking at the stars, and let myself feel small. The next morning, I woke up to find Sasha gone. The guest room was empty. The chains were on the floor. The window was open. Silas was already on the phone, calling contacts, tracking her movements. She can't have gone far, he said. Abelum is still weak. It can't possess her fully yet. She's still in control. Barely. Barely is enough. He hung up. I have a lead. A warehouse in South Boston. Abelum has been using it as a staging ground. A staging ground for what? Possessions. Summonings. Rituals. He grabbed his satchel. We need to go. Now. We took my car. Silas drove. I watched the city blur past the window and tried not to think about what we might find. The warehouse was abandoned. Graffiti on the walls. Broken glass on the floor. The smell of urine and something worse. Something sweet and rotten. Like flowers left too long in water. Stay behind me, Silas said. I stayed. We walked through the darkness. Silas had a flashlight. The beam cut through the shadows, revealing rusted machinery, collapsed shelving, and, in the center of the room, a circle. It was drawn in chalk. No, not chalk. Bone dust. I could tell by the way it glowed in the flashlight beam. And in the center of the circle was Sasha. She was kneeling, eyes closed, hands on her knees, breathing slowly, rhythmically, like she was meditating. Sasha, Silas said, don't move. She opened her eyes. They were brown. Did you find it? She asked. The third signature. What third signature? On the contract. There were 3 signatures. Alexander. Me. And one more. She stood up. I've been looking for it for weeks. Trying to figure out who the third person was. Who else Abelum made a deal with. Who was it? Sasha smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. Your mother. I froze. What? Your mother. Hazel. She's the one who started this. 25 years ago. When you were born. Sasha stepped out of the circle. She wanted a daughter who would be perfect. Successful. Beautiful. Everything she never was. So she made a deal. That's not. She wouldn't. She would. And she did. Sasha pulled a piece of paper from her pocket. It was yellowed. Old. Covered in the same shifting symbols as the contract. This is the original agreement. Your mother's soul in exchange for your future. I took the paper. My hands were shaking. The signature at the bottom was my mother's. I recognized her handwriting. The way she crossed her T's. The way she dotted her I's with little circles. It was always about you, Sasha said. The demon didn't want Alexander. Didn't want me. It wanted you. Because you were already promised. Already claimed. Your mother sold you before you were born. I looked at Silas. He looked at the paper. She's telling the truth. He said quietly. This is a generational contract. They're rare, but they exist. What does that mean for me? It means you were never free. From the moment you were born, your soul belonged to Abelum. He took the paper from me. But contracts can be broken. If the original signer renounces the deal, my mother is dead, then her soul already belongs to Abelum, which means the contract is fulfilled. On her end, at least. He looked at me. But you're still alive, which means the demon's claim on you is incomplete. Incomplete how? Your mother sold your future, not your present. As long as you're alive, the demon can't collect. But the moment you die, it gets my soul. Yes. I looked at Sasha, at her brown eyes, her tired face, her shaking hands. You knew, I said, all along. You knew about my mother's contract. No, I just found out. That's why I came here. To find proof. She stepped closer. I'm not your enemy, Hazel. I never was. I was just another pawn in the same game. The same game. Abelum has been playing you your whole life. Your mother's deal. My deal. Alexander's deal. It's all connected. We're all just pieces on its board. And what's the goal? You. Sasha touched my arm. You're the prize. Hazel. The demon has been trying to claim you since the day you were born. And it's not going to stop until it succeeds. The bitey didn't sleep that night. How could I? My mother had sold my soul before I took my first breath. My best friend had been possessed by the same demon. My fiancé had signed a contract in blood without reading it. And somewhere in the darkness, Abelum was waiting. Silas spent the night on the phone, calling contacts, researching generational contracts, trying to find a loophole. Sasha sat on the couch, drinking tea, not speaking. And I stood at the window, looking at the city, and wondered if any of it was real. At 3 a.m., Silas hung up and walked over to me. There's a way, he said, but you're not going to like it. I haven't liked anything about this. Tell me anyway. The contract requires your death. That's the only way Abelum can claim your soul. So if you don't die, I'm immortal. No, but you can make yourself unkillable. Temporarily. He pulled a small vial from his pocket. It contained a silver liquid that seemed to glow from within. This is a soul shield. It binds your life force to an external object. As long as that object remains intact, you cannot die. What's the catch? The object has to be something you love. Something precious. Something that would hurt you to lose. He held out the vial. And if the object is destroyed, your soul is destroyed with it. No afterlife. No second chances. Just nothing. I stared at the vial. What kind of object? Anything. A piece of jewelry. A photograph. A letter. He paused. A person. A person. If you bind your soul to someone else, you become connected. What hurts them hurts you. What kills them kills you. He put the vial away. I don't recommend it. Then what do you recommend? I recommend you think carefully. Choose something that can be hidden. Protected. Something Abelum wouldn't think to look for. I thought about it. About all the things I loved. My penthouse. My car. My clothes. None of them mattered. None of them were worth protecting. Except one. My father's watch. I said. He gave it to me before he died. It's the only thing I have left of him. Where is it? In my safe. With the brooch. Silas nodded. That'll work. Abelum won't expect you to hide your soul inside a soul cage. A soul cage. The brooch. The one Sasha gave you. It's designed to trap souls, which makes it the perfect place to hide yours. He almost smiled. Poetic. Isn't it? Poetic isn't the word I'd use. What word would you use? Ironic. He laughed. It was the first time I'd heard him laugh. It was a nice sound. Warm and human and completely out of place in this nightmare. Let's do it. I said. The ritual took an hour. Silas drew circles on my floor, lit candles, chanted in a language I didn't recognize. Sasha watched from the couch, her brown eyes my every movement. At the end, he pricked my finger with a silver needle, drew 3 drops of blood, dripped them onto the watch. The silver liquid from the vial followed. It swirled into the blood, mixing, merging, until the watch face glowed like a small sun. Then it faded. Done, Silas said. Your soul is bound to the watch. As long as it's safe. You're safe. I picked up the watch. It felt the same. Looked the same. But when I held it to my ear, I could hear something. A faint heartbeat. Slow and steady. My own heartbeat. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet. The binding isn't permanent. It lasts 6 months. Maybe a year. After that, you'll need to renew it. Then I'll renew it. Assuming you're still alive. I put the watch in my pocket. I planned to be. The next morning, I let it slip. Not on purpose. Not exactly. But I knew Sasha was listening. She always listened. Old habits. I'm flying to Zurich. I told Silas. Loud enough for her to hear. For the experimental treatment. The one I lied about at the party. You're not sick. I know. But Abelum doesn't know that. And if it thinks I'm leaving the country, it might follow you. Try to stop you. Exactly. Silas glanced at Sasha. She was pretending to read a magazine. Alone. He asked. Alone. No security. No Silas. Just me and my private jet. That's dangerous. That's the point. He nodded. Understood. The trap was set. I left that night. Drove to the private airstrip outside the city. My jet was waiting. White and sleek and absurdly expensive. The pilot was already on board. The flight plan was filed. All I had to do was wait. I sat in the hangar, pretending to read a book, and watched the shadows. At 11 p.m., the lights flickered. I didn't look up, didn't react, just kept reading. The temperature dropped. He's here, I said quietly. The shadows behind me moved. Hello, Abelum. The demon stepped out of the darkness. It wasn't wearing Sasha's face anymore. It was wearing something else. A shape that shifted and changed. Never quite settling. One moment it was a man. The next, a woman. The next, something that wasn't human at all. You knew. It said. Its voice was everywhere. Inside my head. Outside my head. Bouncing off the walls of the hangar. I knew. This is a trap. Yes. Yet you came alone. Without your protector. Without your chains. I don't need chains to trap you, Abelum. I just need bait. It laughed. The sound made my teeth ache. You think you can trap me? A mortal. A child. I think you want my soul. And I think you'll do anything to get it. I stood up, closed my book, including walking into a trap. The demon's shape solidified. Became a man. Tall. Dark. Handsome in a generic way. You're brave. It said. I'll give you that. But bravery won't save you. Who said I needed saving? I pressed a button on my watch. The hangar doors slammed shut. The lights went out. And Silas stepped out of the shadows. Iron chain swinging. You. Abelum hissed. Me. Silas wrapped the chain around his fists. We've been looking for you, Abelum. For a long time. Your order has no power here. This is my territory. Not anymore. Silas stepped forward. The Vance contract is void. The mother's soul is already collected. The daughter's soul is bound to an object you cannot touch. You have no claim here. I have every claim. The bloodline. The bloodline ends with Hazel. She has no children. No siblings. No living relatives who share her mother's curse. Silas swung the chain. You're done. Abelum, go back to your realm. Leave this family alone. The demon screamed. Not a human scream. Something louder. Something that shattered the windows of the hangar and sent the pilot running for cover. I will not be banished by a mortal. Then be banished by this. Silas threw the chain. It wrapped around the demon's throat. Abelum shrieked. Black smoke poured from its mouth. Its shape dissolved. Man. Woman. Monster. Shadow. Until nothing was left but a dark stain on the floor. Silas stood over the stain, breathing hard. Is it gone? I asked. For now. He looked at me. But it'll be back. Demons always come back. Then we'll be ready. I looked at my watch. Still ticking. Still beating. Still mine. End of chapter 7. 2 weeks passed. Silas stayed in my penthouse. Sasha stayed in the guest room. I stayed alive. Abelum didn't return. That should have been a relief. It wasn't. It was a weight. A waiting weight. Pressing down on my chest every time I thought about the future. You're thinking too much. Silas said one morning. I can see it in your face. I'm thinking about what happens next. Abelum isn't gone. It's just hiding. Let it hide. We'll find it. And if we don't, then we wait. Demons are patient, but not infinite. Eventually, it'll get bored, make a mistake, show itself. And when it does, Silas didn't answer. Sasha found me on the balcony that night. She was different now, quieter, less desperate. The demon's absence had left a hole in her, a hollow space where her ambition used to live. You should kill me, she said. What? You heard me. You should kill me. It's the only way to be sure Abelum can't use me again. I'm not killing you. Sasha. Then bind me. Lock me up. Send me to an institution. She leaned against the railing. I'm not safe. I'll never be safe. The demon left something inside me. A door. A window. A way back in. How do you know? Because I can still hear it. Sometimes. At night. Whispering. She touched her temple. It says it's not done with me. That it'll never be done with me. I looked at her. This woman who had tried to kill me. Who had sold her soul. Who had been possessed by a demon. I'm not going to kill you. I said again. And I'm not going to lock you up. I'm going to help you. Why? Because someone should have helped you a long time ago. Before you made the deal. Before the demon found you. Before you became this. Sasha stared at me. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve this. Probably not. But I'm not doing it because you deserve it. I'm doing it because I need to. For me. That doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. I touched her arm. But we're here. Both of us. Alive. And as long as we're alive, we have a chance. A chance for what? A chance to be better. She didn't answer. Just stood there, crying silently, while the city lights flickered below us. The next day, Alexander called. He sounded different. Older. Wiser. Like the past few weeks had aged him decades. I found something, he said, in my father's files. About your mother. What about her? There's a letter. Dated the year you were born. Addressed to your grandmother. He paused. It talks about a deal. A sacrifice. A child who would be set apart. Set apart for what? I don't know. That's the word she used. Set apart. Like you were special. Chosen. I felt cold. Send me the letter. I already did. Check your email. I hung up, opened my laptop. The letter was there. A scan of yellowed paper. Typed on an old typewriter. Dear Mother. I know you'll be disappointed in me. You always are. But I had to do something. The doctors say Hazel won't live past 5. Her heart is weak. Her lungs are weak. Everything about her is weak. So I made a deal. There's a man. A businessman. He said he could help. He said he could make her strong, make her perfect, make her everything I never was. All I had to do was promise her to him. When she dies, her soul belongs to him. I know that sounds horrible, but she's going to die anyway. Mother. At least this way. She gets to live first. She gets to be beautiful and successful and loved. She gets to have everything I couldn't give her. Please don't hate me. I did this for her. For all of us. Love. Margaret. I read the letter 3 times. Then I set down the laptop and walked to the bathroom. Threw up. When I came out, Silas was waiting. Your mother, he said. She didn't sell your future. She sold your death. It's the same thing. No. It's worse. He took the letter. Read it. She knew you were going to die. The doctors told her. So she made sure your death would benefit her. She wanted me to be perfect. She wanted you to be useful. He set down the letter. There's a difference. I sat on the couch. Put my head in my hands. My whole life. Everything I've done. Every achievement. Every success. It was all because my mother made a deal with a demon. Maybe. Or maybe you achieved those things yourself. The deal just opened doors. Made things easier. But you still had to walk through them. That's not comforting. Silas. It's not supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to be true. I looked up at him. What do I do now? Now you make a choice. You can let this destroy you. Or you can use it. Use it how? Abelum still wants your soul. That hasn't changed. But now you have leverage. Your mother's contract is complete. She's already dead. Her soul already belongs to the demon. But you're still alive. Still free. And as long as you're free, you can negotiate. Negotiate with a demon. Negotiate with the thing that controls the demon. There's always a hierarchy. Someone above Abelum. Someone who can override the contract. How do I find them? You don't. They find you. He sat down next to me. When you're ready. I wasn't ready. But I didn't have a choice. That night, I stood in the center of Silas's chalk circle. Lit the candles. Spoke the words he'd taught me. And waited. The air grew thick. Heavy. The candles flickered. And then something appeared. Not Abelum. Something else. Something older. Something that made the temperature drop and my skin crawl and my heart stop. Hazel Vance. It said. Its voice was soft. Almost gentle. I've been waiting for you. Who are you? I'm the one who sent you back. The candles flared. The shadows danced. You. I whispered. You're the reason I survived. I'm the reason you have a second chance. It stepped forward. Took shape. Became a woman. Beautiful. Dark. Haired. With eyes that held entire galaxies. I'm your mother's demon. The one she made the deal with. The one who's been watching over you since the day you were born. You're not watching over me. You're trying to claim my soul. I'm trying to save it. She reached out. Touched my face. Her fingers were cold. Abelum is a rogue. It's been acting outside its authority. The contract was supposed to be fulfilled when you died naturally. Not through murder. Not through possession. Not through any of the things Abelum has done. Then why did it happen? Because Abelum is hungry. And impatient. And it doesn't care about rules. She withdrew her hand. I've been trying to stop it. That's why I sent you back. To give you a chance to fight. So you're good. No. I'm a demon. I don't do good. But I do honor contracts. And Abelum violated the terms of yours. Her eyes glowed. Which means I have the authority to cancel it. Permanently. What's the catch? There's always a catch. She smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. The contract can be canceled. But someone has to take your mother's place. Someone has to offer their soul in exchange for yours. You want me to find a replacement. I want you to volunteer. Volunteer to go to hell. Volunteer to live. Free. Unclaimed. With no demon hunting you. She tilted her head. But yes. When you die. Naturally. Eventually. Your soul belongs to me. Not Abelum. Me. That's not freedom. That's just a different master. Is it? I've been watching you for 25 years. Hazel. I've seen your kindness. Your courage. Your refusal to give up. She stepped closer. When you die. If you die. I won't claim you. I'll offer you a choice. The same choice I offered your mother. The same choice I've offered thousands of humans before her. What choice? Join me. Become like me. Or move on to whatever comes next. And if I refuse, then you refuse. No punishment. No torment. Just nothing. She shrugged. I'm not a monster. Hazel. I'm a businesswoman. And I prefer willing partners. I looked at Silas. He was watching from the corner. His face unreadable. What do you think? I asked him. I think you have a lot to think about. Helpful. I'm not here to make your decisions. I'm here to keep you alive long enough to make them. I turned back to the demon. I need time. I said. Take it. She stepped back into the shadows. But not too much. Abelum is getting stronger. And the next time it comes for you, I might not be able to stop it. She vanished. The candles went out. And I was alone in the darkness. With a choice I never wanted to make. I didn't tell Sasha about the demon's offer. Didn't tell Alexander. Didn't tell anyone except Silas. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. You're considering it, he said finally. I'm considering everything. The demon is manipulating you. Offering you a choice that isn't really a choice. Maybe, but it's also offering me a way out. A way to stop running. At what cost? Your soul. Your afterlife. My soul is already promised. To Abelum. To my mother's demon. To something. The only question is who gets it. I leaned back in my chair. At least this way. I have a say. Silas shook his head. That's not a say. That's a different cage. All cages are cages. Silas. At least this one has a view. Sasha noticed something was wrong. Of course she did. She'd been watching me for 6 years. She knew my moods. My tells. The way I tapped my fingers when I was lying. You're planning something, she said. Something you don't want me to know about. I'm planning a lot of things. Like what? Like how to survive. She studied my face. The demon made you an offer. Didn't it? I didn't answer. Let me guess. Your soul in exchange for freedom. A different master. A different deal. She sat down across from me. It's what they do. Hazel. They offer choices. They make you think you're in control. But you're not. You're never in control. Then what am I? Your prey. She said it without malice. Just fact. We're all prey. The only question is whether we run or fight. And what did you do? I ran. Straight into the demon's arms. She smiled bitterly. Don't be like me. That night, Abelum returned. Not in the penthouse. Not in the warehouse. In my dreams. I was standing in a field of white roses. The sky was black. The air was still. And Abelum was waiting. You've been talking to my superior. It said. Its voice was different now. Softer. Almost reasonable. Making deals. Considering options. I'm considering everything. You shouldn't. My superior is a liar. They all are. It stepped closer. I'm the only one who's been honest with you. I want your soul. I've never pretended otherwise. You tried to murder me. I tried to collect what was promised. It shrugged. Semantics. You possessed my best friend. I gave her what she wanted. Money. Status. Your life. She just couldn't handle the price. And Alexander. Alexander signed the contract willingly. He just didn't read it. It laughed. Men never do. I looked at the demon. At its shifting shape. Its hungry eyes. Why are you here? To warn you. My superior's offer isn't what it seems. If you accept, you'll be bound forever. No escape. No second chances. Just eternal servitude. And your offer is better. My offer is death. Quick. Clean. No suffering. It stepped closer. You won't even feel it. You're lying. All demons lie. But some of us lie less than others. It reached out. Touched my face. Its fingers were warm. Think about it. Hazel. One moment of pain. Then nothing. No contracts. No demons. No running. And my soul belongs to me. But you won't care. You'll be dead. That's not comforting. It's not supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to be true. I woke up gasping. Silas was standing over me. Iron chain in hand. It was in your dream. He said. I could feel it. Abelum. Yes. He sat on the edge of my bed. What did it say? I told him. When I finished, he was quiet. It's getting desperate. He said finally. Trying to convince you that death is better than life. That's a demon's last resort. What do? You do what you've always done. You survive. The next morning, I made a decision. I called Alexander. Told him to come to the penthouse. I called Sasha. Told her to sit on the couch and not move. I called Silas. Told him to bring the chains. And then I called the demon. Not Abelum. The other one. The one who claimed to be my mother's contractor. She appeared in the center of my living room. Calm. Collected. Beautiful. You've decided. She said. I've decided. I stepped forward. I want to negotiate. Negotiate what? The terms of my mother's contract. The one you made with her. The one that promised my soul to Abelum. That contract is void. Abelum violated the terms. Then write a new one. Between you and me. With terms we both agree to. The demon's eyes flickered. You're offering yourself to me. I'm offering you a deal. My soul in exchange for 3 things. Name them. First, Abelum is banished. Permanently. It never touches me, my family, or anyone I care about again. Agreed. Second, Sasha is freed. From all contracts, all possession, all demonic influence. She gets her life back. The demon hesitated. That's more difficult, but possible. Third, Alexander is protected. From Abelum. From any other demon. He's an idiot. But he doesn't deserve to be damned for it. The demon laughed. You're asking for a lot. I'm offering a soul. My soul. The one your rogue employee has been trying to steal for 25 years. I crossed my arms. Take it or leave it. The demon studied me for a long moment. You're remarkable. It said finally. Most humans would beg. Plead. Offer anything to save themselves. But you're offering yourself to save others. I'm not saving anyone. I'm making a business deal. Call it what you want. It held out its hand. I accept. I shook. The contract appeared between us. Written on vellum. Signed in blood. My blood. My name. The demon smiled. It's done. Then it vanished. Silas stepped forward. What did you just do? I made a deal. With a demon. With the lesser of 2 evils. I looked at my hand. At the small cut on my palm. At least this one keeps its promises. Sasha was crying. Alexander was staring. Silas was shaking his head. But I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Peace. The wedding was canceled. Not dramatically. Not publicly. Just quietly. Alexander and I issued a joint statement. After much consideration, we have decided to end our engagement. We remain friends and wish each other the best. The tabloids speculated. The social media detectives investigated. But no one found the truth. Because the truth was stranger than fiction. Sasha moved out of my penthouse. Not to a new city. Not to a new life. Just out. She got a small apartment in Cambridge. A job at a bookstore. A therapist who specialized in trauma. She came to see me once a week. We didn't talk about the demon. Didn't talk about the contract. Just talked about books and movies and the weather. It wasn't friendship. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was something. Alexander surprised me. He stepped down from his father's company. Enrolled in graduate school. Started studying ethics. Of all things. I need to understand how I got here. He said. How I became someone who could sign away another person's soul without reading the fine print. Guilt is useless. I told him. Maybe, but learning isn't. He sent me a letter every month. Not long letters. Just a few paragraphs. Updating me on his classes. His progress. His attempts to become a better person. I never wrote back. But I read every word. Silas stayed. Not in my penthouse. Not on my couch. Just nearby. He got an apartment in the same building. Kept his iron chains in a closet. Continued his research. You don't have to watch me anymore. I told him. The contract is settled. The demon is gone. Demons are never gone. They're just waiting. Then you'll be waiting with them. He almost smiled. I don't have anything better to do. A year passed. I sold the penthouse. Bought a smaller place. Donated most of my money to organizations that helped people escape cults and abusive relationships. I didn't need the money anymore. Didn't need the status. Didn't need any of the things I'd spent my whole life chasing. What I needed was peace. And for the first time in my life, I had it. The demon visited me one last time. On the anniversary of my mother's death. I was sitting in my new apartment, drinking tea, watching the rain. She appeared in the chair across from me. No fanfare. No special effects. Just there. You're keeping your promise. She said. I always keep my promises. Not everyone does. I set down my tea. Why are you here? To check on you. To make sure you're adjusting. Adjusting to what? To freedom. She leaned back in the chair. You're not being hunted anymore. Not by Abelum. Not by any other demon. You're free. At the cost of my soul. At the cost of your death. You're still alive. Hazel. Still human. Still capable of joy and pain and everything in between. She paused. That's more than most people get. Why did you help me? Really? She was quiet for a moment. Because your mother asked me to. Before she died. She said she'd made a mistake. That she doomed you to a life of fear and running. And she asked me to fix it. If I could. Demons don't fix things. This one did. She stood up. Goodbye. Hazel. I'll see you again. Someday. When you're ready. She vanished. And I was alone. I live in Paris now. Not the tourist Paris. The real Paris. The one with small cafes and crooked streets and bookstores that smell like old paper. I have a gallery. Small. Intimate. The kind of place where people come to look at art. Not to be seen looking at art. It's not what I planned. Not what I expected. But it's mine. Sasha visits sometimes. She's better now. The hollow places inside her have started to fill in. New memories. New relationships. New reasons to wake up in the morning. She still has nightmares. So do I. But we don't talk about them. Alexander sends letters. He's engaged now. To a woman who reads philosophy and volunteers at animal shelters. He says she makes him want to be better. I hope she does. Silas calls once a month. Updates me on the demonic activity in Boston. There's always something. There's always going to be something. But none of it is for me. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm standing on my balcony, looking at the Eiffel Tower. It's beautiful. All those lights. All those lives. All those secrets hidden behind closed doors. I pour a glass of champagne. The same brand. The one that almost killed me. I don't drink it. Just hold it. Feel the cold glass against my palm. Then I set it down. Untasted. Some habits are hard to break. The phone rings. Sasha. She's crying. Something about a breakup. Something about feeling alone. I listen. Let her talk. Say the words she needs to hear. Because that's what you do. When you've been through hell together. When you've died for each other. When you've come back. That's what you do. You show up. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine was served frozen, with a side of their souls. But in the end, revenge wasn't the point. The point was survival. The point was freedom. The point was learning to live again. After everything tried to kill you. I'm Hazel Vance. I died once. I'm not planning on doing it again. But if I do, I'll go knowing that I lived. Really lived. For the first time. In my whole damn life.